Well, we know now, Matt DeBerry and Dean Legge, that Georgia and the Gators will have the cocktail party in Athens and Gainesville at least for a couple of years. I want to make sure that everybody, well, by the time that y'all are watching this, you already know the news. We talked about this breaking news. It was breaking at the time over on Dog Post. Mayor of Jacksonville, Lenny Curry, told the station 1010XL that the quote best case scenario for the city to renovate TIA to renovate the Gator Bowl would be 2 years. So there's going to be some time at 2025 and 26, and it may be 24. I can get to that in a minute, Matt. But this could be a 2 year thing where Georgia and the Gators play at home. It could be a 4 year thing. It could be forever. But your thoughts? We know now that the likelihood of this happening is very, very high. Georgia and Florida playing on campus, at least for a short amount of time. Your comments?
I love everything about it. First, a break from Jacksonville covering that game in that stadium is welcomed to me. There are a lot of problems associated with working down there. It's a trip to go to, cover a game at the Swamp. I'm not excited to go to Gainesville, Florida. I've been before. There's nothing great about it, but I'm excited to cover this game somewhere else and, cover one game in the Swamp, see what it's all about. And to cover this game in Athens, I mean, the whole town's going to be going bonkers. Florida may still be really bad in a few years. So you're going to have possibly a struggling Florida team coming to Athens. Kirby's going to want to put 50 on them. The last time,
For
they played
sure.
in Athens, Spurrier put 50 on
He,
them. So,
he was out
it's
there.
good for, yeah, it was. So it's good for the city of Athens, good for the city of Gainesville, a nice switch up. And if they do go back to Jacksonville, it'll be in a nicer stadium, maybe a little more work friendly stadium. So I'm all about it, and I hope. I see only positives here, Dean. I mean, working in that place is not great. Maybe we get to park a little closer to the new stadium there, but that's another topic. Probably not, but I'm all about it.
If you if you want double dogs, make sure you're signing up for our newsletter. It's down below. It doesn't cost anything. I'm giving away 5 double dogs, but you have to do it soon. We're running out of time on this offer. I'm giving them away Monday. That's it for the offer. I am so. Couple of things. First of all, I am kind of curious to see what it will be like in the stadiums. I think Georgia, Florida, and Athens would be a spectacle right now, where Georgia's not really struggling. I think this could happen as soon as 2024, and there's a reason why. The contract. This is the nuance you're going to get at Dog Post. That's why you should sign up for the newsletter. The nuance here is that in 2023, the contract runs out. There is a 2 year option, however, to keep the game in Jacksonville in 24 and 25. Well, if the stadium's not available in 25, what are we even talking about? So this could happen as soon as 2024, which would mean Georgia would be the host team. Now, all that is predicated on Georgia's the home team in the even years and the away and the odd. The Southeastern Conference is not necessarily going to care about that. They could use this as a way to balance schedules. There's a million ways that they can go from this. But my suspicion here is that although Kirby has made his feelings clear, money talks. And you're talking about every other year getting a $5 million check for playing in this game. So $2.5 million every single year that Georgia gets. That is a little lower, but in the same universe as Georgia's deal with Nike. Okay, by the time that this thing comes back, in theory, from hiatus in Jacksonville, you could be talking about a $4 million a year contract to play Georgia, Florida down there. Georgia's not going to turn their back on that. They're just not going to. And a year, that's just, it's 2.5 right now. They're not going to turn their back on 4 million a year. Why? Because in 10 years, that's $40 million. You're not going to make that up playing that game in Georgia 5 times, and it's you're not going to. Okay, each game is worth. You'd be making about, now this is rough math, y'all. You'd be making about $10 million over that decade versus making 40 million. That's 30 million more. Okay, and someone as high value, high dollar as Matt DeBerry knows, you just don't leave money on the table like that. So there's all of that, and that's very rough back of the math, back of the envelope math. Okay, I can get into it more. It assumes a lot of things, but I think I am curious to see it in the stadiums. I worry though, man. I think it's going to be awesome for Athens. It's going to be awesome for Athens. I think though that it will become just another game. It's right now it is an experience. I would say it is the experience in the fall for Georgia. I don't know. I can't speak to Florida. I know it's a great tradition for them, but it is the experience for undergrads and obviously fans that will go away. It'll just be a regular game.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough for the Georgia fans who live down in Jacksonville and South Georgia who look forward to that game every year. And it
Yeah.
is one of the
It's a
best
different
traditions
crowd.
in college football. It is different crowd. And you got the frat beach parties. So the
Hmm.
frat beachers are tough for them. But I'm excited a little bit about the switch up. Just, I mean, basically for work, personal reasons. It could be tough, but
That's true.
it is one of the best scenes and environments in college football, and I hate to not see that. I mean, every year around Halloween, you look forward to this game and getting down there, and the
You feel
3:30
it.
kickoffs right around the fourth quarter. The sun comes over. I mean, it is a great feeling. The weather's usually really really nice, so there's a lot to like about that game being in Jacksonville, the stadium halfway full, this and that, the tailgating, it really is different. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just something that everyone looks forward to. And I think this is a game where, Texas, Oklahoma fans watch this game, Michigan fans, Wisconsin fans, whoever, Oregon fans, everyone kind of tunes into this game, whether they're ranked or not. It's just a fun game right in the middle of the year, a lot on the line. And yeah, it just the way the sky looks down there. It
Yeah,
always,
yeah,
the past few years, it's different than what we
yeah.
see everywhere else.
But
I,
Athens is
I'm gonna miss it a little bit, but that game in Athens is something I'm looking forward to very much, and I want to see how the Florida fans react. Georgia coming to town in the Swamp too. I mean, it's another stadium that I haven't obviously covered a game in. It'd be nice to check that out, once, but I'm all about switching up for a couple years, do something different.
so. I if I were Florida, there's a lot of problems at Florida right now. Now, whether they want it, they can listen to me talk about it if they want to or not. I've watched Florida for a quarter century, and I understand. That place. That's a great place to go to school. It has been is not currently is has been one of the best athletic departments in the country. It's been something to admire. They have real issues down there right now. I don't know what's going on, but I would be concerned if that game were in 24 that the Georgia fans would come and take the stadium over. I mean, I'm talking about maybe 20,000 people. Maybe not take it over is a good question. There's no shot of that happening in Athens. It just simply will not happen. And Florida fans just don't travel, but certainly not like Georgia fans. So if I were Scott Strickland, who
Especially
may
when
or
they're
may
losing. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If I were Scott
yeah.
Strickland, who may or may not be in Gainesville, um, that would concern me tremendously because Florida's not selling out home games. They're not selling out SEC games. Their biggest games that are home games now. Obviously, they're just like Georgia. Um, they don't play their biggest game at home ever because it's in Jacksonville. So that's a
Yes.
problem. But I'd be worried. They had 90,000 there for Utah, and they had about 90,000 there for the Kentucky game. The Missouri game, they did not have 90,000. The LSU game, they did. They had 72,000 people there for the Eastern Washington game. Excuse me. Now people say, well, I'm like, that's how many tickets they sold. That's not how many people necessarily showed up there. I would be concerned about that aspect of it. I mean, this is a Florida program that has, struggled sometimes to really maximize what they've got. 86,000 for the Vandy game. Uh, 88,000 for Florida State. If it's not an SEC game, the fans are not going to buy tickets. So for Georgia, I'd be worried. I mean that would be the one thing to me that would be concerning if I'm Scott Strickland, who may or may not be the AD there at the time. That would be concerning for me because Georgia has shown, excuse me, Matt, they will go to Indiana. They will go to Colorado. They will go to Arizona. They will go to California. They will go They will go to Jacksonville. They will go to Nashville. They will go to Atlanta. They will take over cities. Period. Believe it. And that's what I'd be worried about. But I think it'll be a great time in Athens. But your comment on watching the Gators roll out in probably white tops and blue bottoms to come play Georgia in silver britches and red tops in Sanford Stadium. We've not seen that very often.
Yeah, I've never been a giant fan of the orange and blue, not because I cover Georgia or anything, but
It's not great colors.
it's not.
Right.
It's not. But to your
The
point,
Mets, I mean, it's just not good.
it's just everything. No, 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 no. It's just whatever. I do agree with the point that more Georgia fans will travel to the swamp than Florida
Yeah.
fans will travel to Athens because I think at this point they know where this rivalry is heading. They know what's going to happen, and I think in 2 years it's going to be that different. And there's so much excitement around the Georgia program right now, and it's the complete
Mhm.
opposite in Florida, especially after that last spring game. So they need to start winning soon. I mean, they could be one of the worst teams in the SEC this year. I mean, that's not a hot take in my opinion. So they better get ready because if they're not, Georgia fans are going to fly down there, well, drive, but in massive groups. I guess there's going to be a ton of Georgia fans trying to head down to the swamp to watch that game. And again, I've made a video about this. I don't know when the next time Florida is going to beat Georgia. They're going to, I mean, Georgia's going to have to take a step back, and Florida's going to have to make big time strides moving forward, or else these games, in my opinion, aren't going to be that competitive. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's a real chance I think Georgia could go on a massive winning streak against the Gators no matter where they play.